Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live again. And as you can tell by my reaction and by the shot, after this match, I'm just kind of like, eh. Like, it's something where I think that if you had told me, and Matthew and Doug and I were talking about this before the stream even started, that if you had told me before the match that Martial wasn't going to be available, Lingard wasn't going to start, Lukaku was going to start, and then we were going to have to use all three substitutes in the first half, and we were still going to get a draw, I would have taken that 100%. And that's exactly what we got, is we got a 0-0 draw, which is probably the last result any of us were thinking would happen. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Today, we're joined by two guests. It's not quite as big as the preview, but still, we got two phenomenal guests. Doug, my stat man, how you doing, man?
I'm feeling very deflated after that. I must admit, it does feel like a defeat.
I would say that would probably be more like a defeat for you guys than it would be for us, considering the circumstances. Matthew McFadden, my guy, how you doing, dude?
I really don't know. I really do not know. Like you said, if someone was to say all those circumstances and we come out with a draw, I would have been like, yeah, cool. But I'm actually kind of disappointed. We should have won that game. Liverpool were quite frankly non-existent in that game, and we just should have won it in the last 5 minutes. But either way, a draw against the best attack in the league, can't really be too annoyed with that, but still.
Yeah, I mean, and you get further into it. The fact that Liverpool had one shot on target speaks volumes to the defense that we had, like absolute volumes. And so, for me, I am ecstatic with coming away with that, with a 0-0 draw. To hold Liverpool, like you said, with who have the best attack in probably all of the Premier League, 0 goals is an absolute feat. An absolute feat. So let's go ahead. Let's jump into this a little bit. So, Doug, I mean, I'm going to give you some of these stats here. So you guys had 64.5% possession to our 35. You guys had one shot on target to R3, 7 shots total to R6, 745 passes to R484, 745 touches to R484, and then 568 passes to R320. We both equaled each other in tackles at 18. You had 8 clearances to R27. You had 7 corners to R3. And then you guys had 1 offsides to R3, which we all know the 3 offsides that came. Does any of those stats really stand out to you?
I've never known a Liverpool team to have more possession at Old Trafford than any other. But the problem was, it's all right having very good possession, but it's what you do with it. Our passes in the final third today were absolutely atrocious. We just never looked like scoring in that match. We had a lack of cut in the final third. It was just very, very, very average today. It's not. I mean, I would have probably expected obviously our set pieces. I thought it would be a lot more dangerous, but our passing basically from crosses was really poor today. It was just a very poor performance. I think it was a much better defensive display from Manchester United, who defended admirably. I have to say that. And you guys did stop us scoring, and like I said, we did not look like scoring, which is the worrying bit.
Yeah, you guys, I mean, we talked about it before. I was never worried about your guys' attack. At any point in this match, I was never worried about your attack, other than 2 set pieces in the second half where you guys looked like you might get on the end of it, but you didn't. And I was just like, oh, okay, we're fine. Like, Manchester United defensively really stood out today. And to think of the disparity, the diversity between our first match against you guys at Anfield to our match now at Old Trafford, like, you're talking about different levels. And the fact that Ollie has this defense so well drilled that we managed to pull out the draw and still looked threatening on the counter. Like, that was the one thing that really stood out to me, is we still looked threatening on the counter, despite the fact that we were down basically to 10 men, because Marcus Rashford was, he was pushing through as hard as he could. And then if you wanted to get into the fact that, Lukaku put in a few good passes, but other than that, really didn't do much. And then Ashley Young defensively was good, but passing-wise really didn't do anything. We had almost no right side and no Marcus Rashford, and we still managed to pull out a draw. I'll take that for Manchester United all day long. So, Matthew, same question to you. Is there any of the stats that I gave you that really stand out in this?
I think, see, when you compare it to last year, or last calendar year under Mourinho, the last game, where Liverpool had 36 shots, and now I think they had 5 and 1 on target, if I'm right. It was either 7 and 1 on target for Liverpool, or 5 and 1 on target for Liverpool.
It was 7 and 1.
Yeah, that just shows how much better defensively we are under Ole. But yeah, like, the player ratings is going to be an interesting one, because half of those players in the pitch, I've got no idea how to rate them. But I think I said in that preview that something will happen in the first minute that might, or could potentially lead to a goal. And that guy was Ashley Young. I've got no idea what he was doing in that first minute, passing it back to De Gea like that when you've got pressing forwards. He should have known way better. And luckily he didn't really punish us from that. But, it was just such a weird game. I do not get it whatsoever. Like, the second half felt like a first half, because the first half was just wasted by injuries. In terms of those stats, to be fair, nothing surprises me in football now, but if someone was to say, yeah, you'd only have 1 shot on target, or there'd be 3 shots on target in total in a Man United v Liverpool game at Old Trafford, I'd probably laugh at you, because I'd think, no way is that kind of stuff happening. But yeah, it's just a strange game.
And it really was. It really was just a very different type of game. Like, there was something about it that just stood out as, like, Manchester United made the decision that we weren't going to allow them to score. That's what it came down to, is we decided we're not letting you score today, and they didn't. Like, we defended very, very well all across the pitch. And like I was saying earlier, realistically, we had the better chances. We had, if Lukaku's pass is maybe slightly less powerful to Lingard would have rounded Alisson and put in a goal. 100% would have rounded him and put in a goal. And then you also talk about the fact that, the one ball that actually did hit the back of the net wound up as a offsides. I went from utter excitement to just utter disappointment. It was, to talk about the ups to the downs very, very quickly. And Craig, what's going on, man? Good to see you here. Yeah, and Craig, I agree. I haven't seen a game like that in a bit. And I have to ask you guys, do you think that if both teams didn't have the injury crisis they did coming into this match, do you think this game would have been different? Matthew, do you think this game would have been any different with no injuries?
We would have at least seen goals. With Martial and Lingard. Lingard, let's face it, really didn't play. With Martial and Lingard out as well, I think as soon as I saw that team line up, I thought it was going to be hard to get goals here. Because, Pogba maybe could have been a source of goals, but then again, he only seems to play really well when we're playing that attacking kind of brand of football and when we've got other good players around him. Yeah, I thought one of the most important things was Herrera, though, getting injured. Even though Pereira came in, did a fairly decent job, we just kind of lost something with Herrera. But yeah, without those injuries for both teams, really would have seen a far different game.
And I ultimately agree with you. I think that with no injuries, we see a 100% different game. I mean, Doug, to you as well. I mean, do you think with no injuries, we see a different game?
Oh yes, absolutely. I think the injuries really affected the flow of the game because I think obviously the first injury, if I seem to remember, was under Herrera. He goes off. Pereira comes on, and then obviously about 15 minutes later, it was like Mata injured, and then Lingard came on for his cameo appearance because I think at that point, like I thought it was maybe the wrong decision to put Lingard on. I don't know if you, Matthew, are in total agreement with me for that one. And then obviously, Sanchez comes on for Lingard after that. But yeah, you've made your first 3 subs in about 38 minutes, and then obviously Firmino gets injured as well. Actually, that one looks a bad one. I don't know if you actually saw it in live play. He actually self-inflicted himself actually because his right foot actually buckles into the ground.
Oof.
So that is a bit of a worry. But no, I think had there been no injuries, I think we would have seen a much better game of football. Yeah, it's one of those where it was an opportunity missed for Liverpool and probably an opportunity missed for Manchester United to obviously try and go and win that game. Yeah, I would agree. I think if minus the injuries, I think we would have seen a much better game of football, and probably we would have probably seen a couple of goals as well.
Yeah, I agree. And funny enough, with the way that you guys turned up at Old Trafford today, Doug, I think that it probably would have been a big Manchester United win if we had our full-strength squad. I really believe that because you guys for the most part, you guys had your full team. I'm not saying you guys had everybody, but you had, for the most part, your full-strength team. And Manchester United managed to, even without our 2 of our best attacking talents, we managed to still be in this game. Like that's the crazy part is we were still in this game despite the fact that both Martial and Lingard were out. I cannot believe that. Cannot believe it that we managed to pull this off. Pull off a draw from a essentially a 10-man squad out there. It was essentially a 10-man squad. And Craig, funny enough, I kind of feel the same way. I feel slightly deflated from this. Like it's not that I'm upset that we drew, but at the same time, I am because I feel like we were the better side. I feel like we were the better side, and we should have been the one to capitalize and win this match. I really think so. But guys, let's go ahead. Let's go into what happened in this match, and the fact that Manchester United, number one, even though we did not have the amount of possession that Liverpool had, I would say that Manchester United created the better chances overall. And then also, I would go from the standpoint of that with creating the amount of chances that we did, Liverpool also on the set pieces where we actually did score. I mean, they played that high line to a T. But Doug, the question to you is, does them playing a high line like that and basically not moving on a set piece make you be worried in a game like this?
That free kick for the offside, there's a missed opportunity there because the same kind of set piece was there to be taken because we were sleeping. I noticed that, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Milner. he's actually sleeping, and Sanchez is actually there to have like a pass ready. Like he like if Milner doesn't track that run for Sanchez, then I think you guys get a goal from that. But yeah, it's. I don't know about the high line, but it is very, very risky to be defending like that, and it could have cost us. It could have cost us, but no, I think that free kick for the offside goal. I think if you look back at it again, I think there's a chance of a quick free kick there, and we were sleeping, so I think we're a wee bit lucky to get away with that one.
Yeah, I mean, you really were. I mean, Matthew, we were talking. Like, I know we were talking about this before we came live. I mean, do you feel similarly to Doug? I mean, you were talking about the disappointment from Chris Smalling to fall to that offsides trap. I mean, what did you think of that specifically?
I mean, Chris Smalling should have won the game. He should have won us the game on 2 occasions, never mind just the one. But I've always said that defenders should know offside traps. They should know when a defence is going to run forward, especially in a set piece. And that's been something that they've worked on in the training ground clearly, because they passed it right to the guy who's running. And not only from the fact that Chris Smalling runs offside and wastes that opportunity, also means that later on in the game, should they try that again, Liverpool would have that marked up. So they've absolutely wasted a free kick opportunity that they've clearly put effort into because of Smalling's absolute stupidity going forward too early. And you could see it. I think it was Fabinho who was marking him. He just stood there. It didn't even seem like he was planning on running to Smalling. But yeah, Smalling should have done so much better. For a centre back, he's actually got quite a good finish on him. He can take a shot quite well, and he's scored some important goals. But to miss or to not really get 2 chances like that, it's absolutely shocking from him. Especially that second chance as well. I think it was Lukaku who put the ball into the box. And I mean, he should have done way better than that. At least stick out a leg.
Yeah,
stick out a leg and actually do something. You're playing in the biggest derby in world football, and it's the last 5 minutes of the game, and you're one of those leaders from the back. At least actually show a bit of fight and try and get the ball. And I thought defensively, to be fair, he was okay, but in those 2 chances, terrible.
I mean, it is really unfortunate, man. That those 2 set pieces. I mean, we essentially wasted 1 full opportunity. We really did.
Yeah.
And that ball, when it hit the back of the net, I was genuinely thinking, oh my God, we just won this game. We managed to win this game without having 2 of our best attacking players. I couldn't believe it, but ultimately just wasn't meant to be. And guys, real quick, I do want to apologize. For some reason, my camera is just being a little bit slow today. You could probably see that I'm a little framey. I think that's the best way to put it. My FPSs are really dropping for some reason. But that's okay. So let's go ahead. Let's get into this match and let's get into the player ratings, because that's the best way to talk about this. And we'll just go team by team. I mean, Doug, you can talk about your Liverpool team, and then we'll talk about Manchester United in our ratings. So, I mean, Doug, away first, goalkeeper Alisson. How do you rate him on the day?
That's why we bought the money from him. That is why we bought the money for him. That save from Lingard was so pivotal, because basically up until that point, you didn't really have a save to make. I don't think he had a save to make in the second half either. So if Alisson, basically if he gets that 1 split second wrong, it's a penalty. It is potentially a red card as well. So for that save alone, I think Alisson gets an 8 from me.
And honestly, that is very fair. And real quick, I do want to shout out Jay Hart's comment here, which is absolutely spot on. Special cheers to Rashford, who played through a full 90 minutes with an injury and still looked better than Lukaku, which is a 100% fact. And any time that he was on the end of a run, I was thinking that we had a chance. Where Lukaku, he had a couple of decent runs down the right-hand side and put in a couple of decent crosses. But, Lukaku's first touch was, once again, absolutely abysmal today. And that kind of cost us on a few separate occasions. Matthew, let's go ahead. Let's talk about David De Gea. How do you rate David De Gea on the day? Really didn't have much to do.
I don't even think it's possible to rate him. He didn't do anything. Not because of his faults or whatever. It's just that Liverpool were just absolutely toothless in the attack. So I think I'd have to give him just a default 6 rating.
And
Alisson put in a few good saves, to be fair to him.
Yeah. I mean, he put in...
Times I think it was Lingard when Lukaku put him through. Lingard really should have just tried to chip it first time, but to be fair to Alisson, to actually get the ball, cleanly get the ball and keep it in that situation was brilliant from him.
I mean, and you're definitely right on that, Matthew. We talked about it beforehand. The fact that, it was a great pass from Luke. I should say Lukaku, because Luke Shaw is out on the pitch, but it was a great pass from Lukaku, who played Lingard through. But I think if that pass just has the slightest bit less on it, Lingard would have rounded Alisson and would have had an open net goal. It just would have been perfect. But to talk about De Gea, I give De Gea basically a 6 rating, because the only save he had to make today was from a shot that was about 35 yards out and never looked to threaten De Gea at all. So I give De Gea a 6 today. Guys, if you want to have your match ratings read out, get them into the chat and I will get them read out for you guys. I love to try and get you guys I want to get you guys in the show as often as possible. So go ahead and get your ratings in. So Anvesh said De Gea 6, did what he could. Jay Hart did say 6 for De Gea. I can't remember him making a save, which speaks volumes to the way that our defense played. That we can't really remember a real save that De Gea had to make. And that's going to be everybody for now. But let's go ahead. Let's move on to the right back position. Matthew, we'll go to us first on this one. Ashley Young, how do you rate him today?
Ashley Young, Jesus Christ, that error in the first minute was absolutely hopeless from him. To be fair, apart from that, he wasn't absolutely dreadful, but see, just for that error purely, I'd probably give him a 5.
Well, his passing besides that was also garbage. It really was. He really didn't have any good passes today. The couple of set pieces, he put in a couple of decent set pieces, but that's stuff you work on in the training ground and you should be decent at. If you're working on that in the training ground, you should be making that happen. So, I'll give Ashley Young a 5 as well, just because his passing was so poor. But defensively, he stood up and did what he could. So I'm not going to be disappointed.
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah. I'll just, because of, as a matter of fact, you know what? I'll give him a 6 because we managed to keep a clean sheet and he was part of that defensive back line. So I'll give Ashley Young a 6 just because he was defensively solid. And he didn't even have to pocket Mohamed Salah. That was all on Luke Shaw. But we'll give you guys your chance to get your Ashley Young rating in. Phil Whitaker said Young 6. Anvesh said Ashley Young 3. Jay Hart said I give Young a 7 for his defense, but 3 for everything else, so a 5 to even it out. And that's a very fair rating. That is a very fair rating. But Doug, to you, how do you rate him? How do you rate your right back?
It's a hard one because it was a really, really big call from Klopp to play Milner over a recognised right back. He tried his best. There were a couple of opportunities to get the ball in the box, and unfortunately, he either dithered or he played back a lot. Obviously got booked for a tackle on Pogba. I think that was the first booking of the game, actually, and he's always Mr. Reliable, James Milner. You can ask him to play, right back, left midfield, right midfield, centre midfield. He'll do a job for you. But on today's match, I have to put his rating down because obviously he got booked, and I thought his delivery wasn't great. So I'm going to give James Milner a 5.
And once again, I think that's a fair rating because, like, other than his set piece stuff, I mean, he really didn't do anything. And like you said, he did get booked in a game against Manchester United. I mean, you got to show up big, and it's something that Milner really didn't do. So I think 5 is a fair rating for him. So I mean, Doug, let's go to. You want to go to Van Dijk or Matip first for your first center back?
I'll go to Matip first.
Okay, go ahead.
There was one moment where he gets the ball and does he basically almost goes into the box. He obviously gets fouled by Ander Herrera, and he must have had rocks for brains going very. He must have. It was a very, very interesting wee cameo to go into to go on a wee run like that. But no, apart from obviously almost costing us the game with the offside goal, I thought he was very, very solid. I thought he was very good. I thought his passing was okay. So sometimes though he does have a tendency to be very, very nervy on the ball. He reminds me of Mamadou Sakho in a little way because ball playing centre. You obviously want ball playing centre backs, but they can give you they can give you nightmares as well. But to be fair, Matip has probably had his best game in a Liverpool shirt for a long, long time. I'm going to give Matip a 7.
That's a fair rating. That is a fair rating. I mean, you guys kept a clean sheet as well, and he was definitely part of that. So, Matthew, let's talk about Chris Smalling first. I mean, we obviously were talking about a little bit earlier the fact that he was offsides for what should have been the only goal of the match. How do you rate Chris Smalling today?
If I'm honest, I'm gonna be pretty harsh on him and give him either a 5 or a 6. Defensively, he was okay. He wasn't anything too special. But I'm just pissed off about those chances. I don't really think there's too much to say about his performance because of the lack of attacking presence for Liverpool, and very rarely was any of the defenders really tested apart from Luke Shaw, who passed his test with flying colours.
Yes.
But yeah, those chances, for missing those chances, I know you're a centre-back and your main goal is defending, but when you're in that position, I don't care if you're, prime Ronaldo or some Sunday league keeper, you need to be putting them away. And the fact that he didn't, I was annoyed to see. So 5.5 maybe, even though I don't like doing half ratings.
I'm going to give him a 6 because defensively,
yep.
I mean, he did hold up. He did clear the ball out well from headers. So for me, I just think that giving him an average rating in a match like this seems fair, all things considering. So Chris Smalling, I mean, okay. Okay. You did an okay job, but you definitely cost us not getting a goal on 2 separate occasions. So, yikes. Prefer Mike Smalling over Jones, said Phil Whitaker. Yeah, I think everybody does. JR said, oh God, Smalling, even though he even though he was good defensively, he did miss two key chances. He gets a 4 for me. Said Jay Hart, which honestly, I mean, it might seem harsh, but I get it. I do get it. Salt, good to see you in the chat. Moana said 5 for Smalling. We were playing Liverpool and kept a clean sheet and no shots. Yeah, that's a great point. My question would be is why we played Why are we playing crosses to Smalling's feet, not his head? Salt, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's a great question. But Matthew, let's go ahead for us. Let's move on to the Iceman, who definitely had ice in his veins today. Victor Lindelof, how do you rate him?
I think if Luke Shaw didn't perform so amazing on the day, then we would have said so much more about Lindelof in terms of praising. I think he didn't really put a foot wrong whatsoever. And, playing out the back, he was a lot more calm than Smalling, as I think most people know. Yeah, it was just an overall really, I think calm's probably the best word to describe him. Just, he didn't look nervous. Because we've seen a few times, like in like the last season, earlier on this season, sometimes big games can kind of get to him mentally, but seems to be over that stumbling block 100%. So I'd give him a 7 out of 10. Obviously, if he had more to do and he did more, then I would have given him a better rating, but he did what he did, or he did what he could. So 7 out of 10.
So I'm giving Victor Lindelof an 8 out of 10. I feel like he was absolutely phenomenal today. He was all over the pitch. He was heading balls away. He did everything he could to help the team. And for me, that speaks to exactly who we all believe Victor Lindelof can be for Manchester United under Ollie. And just the fact that he's able to be that ball-playing center back that we all know we need. So, Victor, thank you for the performance you put in today because it was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. So, Ever said Lindelof 8. Phil Whitaker said 8. Let's see here. J Hart said Lindelof another solid 8. No shots in the box from Liverpool. He should be in the team of the week. Which J Hart, I actually do think that he will be in the team of the week. I agree with that. Bandy Candy said 8. Salt. So I mean, Matthew, let's answer this for Salt really quick. They asked, should I get a Pogba shirt or a Lindelof shirt? I'm going to go with Pogba. Who are you going to go with?
No, it's got to be Pogba.
It's got to be Pogba.
100%.
Yeah. I'm 100% with you there, Matthew. I think Pogba is the more appropriate one right now. Let's see here. George Kyle did say Lindelof a 7 was very solid, but ultimately not tested too much. Which that's fair, George. That is very fair. I don't see anybody else's rating. So, Doug, Virgil van Dijk, how do you rate him today?
I think he was probably the best of our defence, if I'm being honest. I mean, I remember the Pogba shot that looks like it's going into the corner. Had Van Dijk not headed that away, I think that's 1-0. He headed everything out. He tracked back. He was just very calm, composed, very, very. I think there was one moment where I think it was Lukaku and Virgil van Dijk, and you could actually see the difference between Van Dijk and Lukaku. Like, basically, Lukaku gave up, and Van Dijk basically went straight to the ball. I think you'll probably see Virgil van Dijk and Victor Lindelof in the team of the week, like Premier League team of the week potentially. So I'm going to have to give the same as you guys gave Lindelof. I'm going to give Van Dijk an 8.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the header away for Van Dijk on that Pogba chance was phenomenal. Like, that was absolutely phenomenal because I thought for sure that was going to go into the back of the net. It looked like Alisson jumped a little too early. And he was going to miss it, and he would have had to try and save it with his feet because it looked like it was going to hit that like middle right corner of the net. I very well might have been saved easily. We don't know, but that was a phenomenal clearance by Van Dijk. Phenomenal clearance. So Doug, George Kyle said Important service announcement. Mohamed Salah is missing. Last seen scoring a pen against Arsenal. His only 8 goal against the top 6 in 8 games this season. Salah was bottled up pretty well. Pretty well. So let's go ahead. Let's move on to the left back spot so we can actually talk about that. Doug, how do you rate Andy Robertson today?
Looked a bit tired, to be honest. He looked a wee bit lethargic, but no, it's continued to try and get down that left hand side. There were a couple of times where we were trying to cross the ball, like a ball basically towards him. When he's obviously attacking that end, but I don't know. There were a couple of times where I thought Lukaku actually tracked back really well to stop Robertson. But no, he's still an attacking left back. He still gave us options down there. But yeah, I just felt today he was a little bit tired. I think he was a little bit tired against Bayern Munich as well. But the thing is, he will run and run and run. Obviously, he gets clattered by Lukaku as well. He looks like his wrist looked really. He had his wrist strapped in the second half. It looked really, really painful. But yeah, Robertson, I think I'd just give him a standard 6 because he tried his best, but in the end, he wasn't going anywhere. But yeah, still Scottish Braveheart and Scotland captain, of course. So yeah, I'll give Andy Robertson a 6.
And I mean, he pretty much was average today. If you want to get into it, I mean, he did some things good, did some things bad, and Lukaku did an okay job against him. I mean, for the most part, Andy Robertson was free down that left-hand side a lot of times. But he was tracked by Young and Lukaku both at different times. And they did a good job with it. They did. Sorry, guys. It was a really early wake-up for me today. So, Matthew, let's go ahead. Let's get to Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw put in a hell of a performance today. And I'm pretty sure that when he gets home, that Mohamed Salah is still going to be in his pocket. What do you give Luke Shaw today?
Before we give Luke Shaw a rating, I want to give a special shout out to who scored, the ever reliable ratings website, who gave Ashley Young a higher rating than Luke Shaw. No idea why. I mean, Luke Shaw is, I'd probably be safe to say, is everyone's man of the match. Like, defensively, did you see Salah do anything?
Nope.
The only thing I saw him doing was come off the pitch.
Yeah.
Like, the physio had more involvement in the game than Mo Salah. So he was completely pocketed for that entire, say, 60, 65 minutes or something. So, although to be fair, going forward, Luke Shaw didn't do much, but defensively he was absolutely inch perfect. So I'd probably give him, because you gave Lindelof an 8 out of 10, I'd give Luke Shaw a 9. But really, I'd give him an 8 out of 10, but I thought he was better than Lindelof, so 8.5 maybe.
So I was going to give Luke Shaw a 9 today. Luke was just all over the pitch covering Mohamed Salah. And, I mean, he did what was needed of him today in a game where we were down to no subs for the rest of the game after 40 minutes, basically. And he held up defensively. That's all you can ask of him in a match like this. So Luke Shaw, you get a 9, and honestly, you're going to get our man of the match today. And I think pretty much everybody would agree with that, because it wasn't just Mohamed Salah that he bottled up. He pretty much bottled up everybody that came his way all day long. So good job, Luke. You really did a great job. So let's go ahead. Let's read your guys' ratings. Mo said Shaw 8. Let me make sure it's not missing any. Sorry, so there actually is a couple up here. I apologize. So Anver said Shaw 7, had to do more of the defensive job along with keeping the pockets safe. J Hart said Shaw gets a 9 for me. His presence was too dominating for Salah. Best performance so far from him, which, yeah, I agree with that. I think that was his best performance. Vandy Candy said Shaw 8. George Kyle said Shaw the complete left back performance, the best British center back. That's pretty funny, George. Then he said Shaw gets a 9 for him. J Hart said, I'm sorry, I got J Hart's rating. Shaw an 8 from Salt. And it looks like that's everybody. Yep, that's everybody. So let's go ahead. Let's move on to our central defensive mid today. That, I mean, we were all expecting Matic, but apparently Matic picked up an injury, and Scott McTominay stepped in and did an okay job. Matthew, how do you rate him?
I just thought it was your standard Scott McTominay performance. Didn't do much good, but didn't do much in general. Or didn't really do much too bad. So, it seems like every single game now I'm just giving a 6 out of 10. I thought it was just a, decent performance. I don't really think he had too much to do. Had some okay passes here and there, but ultimately just not great, but not bad.
I give him a 6-2. I mean, it was pretty much an average performance, and honestly, it's what we needed from somebody when Matic goes out with an injury. We needed an average performance, and we pretty much got it. So his performance helped keep the clean sheet. It did. So just I wish that he could play a bit better of a ball, because that would have helped out the team massively. So let's go ahead. Let's get to your guys' ratings. J Hart said a surprising 8 for McTominay. He stepped up, did the badge proud, which that's fair. I mean, he did come into this match, a match that he wasn't expecting to start, and really fought and played well in the match. Anvesh said Scott gets a 6. Phil said Scott a 6. Mo said McTominay 6. Pogba covered his butt. Vandy Candy said McTominay 7.5. Considering expected him to be terrible, he did deliver really well. Yeah, that's a good point. He did deliver when we all kind of expect him to just kind of be meh. So, but I still think that it's an average performance from him. And then Salt said Scott McTominay gets a 7, but a 9 because he's Scottish. Matthew, I'm surprised you didn't increase his rating because of that.
That is a fair point.
Yeah. So Matthew, you really did. You did screw your countrymen there.
Man of the match, 11 out of 10.
So, Doug, Fabinho, how did you see him do today?
Apart from that, obviously the Smalling offside decision, I don't think he put a foot wrong. I thought he was really, really good. He was the one that was obviously trying to get passes to the wide players. Just looks so cool, composed on the ball. I think he is definitely better positioned as a CDM. I think you could actually see that. Obviously, from midweek, he did play well against Bayern Munich, but his best position is definitely central defensive midfielder. Didn't put a foot wrong. I think there was maybe one where he let, I think it was Pogba, go past him, but apart from that, didn't put a foot wrong. I'm going to give Fabinho a 7.
That's a fair rating. That is a fair rating. So Salt gave Fabinho a 0.1 out of 10 because we should have gotten him. There was all those rumors, Salt. There was all those rumors. But Fabinho, in all honesty, you can say that pretty much everybody defensively today for both teams did their job. They did well. So, I mean, I think Fabinho 7 is a very fair rating. So, I mean, Doug, let's go ahead. Let's move into your central mid areas. You rate whoever you want to first.
Go for the captain, to Jordan Henderson. Yeah, I actually said in the preview that I thought it would be Henderson over Keita, and I think, he tried it. He tried his best. Did not look happy going off. I must admit. I think he was. I think he saw something today that he. If he stayed on, then maybe would have made the difference. But no, I thought passing was okay. I don't think he was better than Fabinho. I think he does try his best. He was running very, very well. Yeah, he didn't do too much wrong as well. But I have to say that it's probably a standard 6 for me for Jordan Henderson.
And I mean, that's fair. I mean, I did hear some fans, as he came, like Liverpool fans, I should say. I did see some Liverpool fans on Twitter saying when they saw him starting that they weren't exactly happy with it. He did, like you said, he did an okay job, did what he had to do, but ultimately, I mean, he didn't really have an effect on the match. So average is fair. So Matthew, I mean, Ander Herrera obviously started the match, and then wound up that Herrera came off pretty early, which was just highly unfortunate. But let's just rate Andres Pereira for the match. I just think overall Andres actually did a decent job considering the last match that he played.
Yeah, it's true. I'd probably say the exact same thing for Pereira than I did McTominay. Like, he didn't really do too much, and it was definitely a lot better than that absolute horror show against I think it was Burnley, wasn't it?
Yep.
So much better than that, because that was, quite frankly, just disgracefully bad performance. But yeah, definitely a lot better today. But again, I'd give him just a standard 6 out of 10 rating. I think most of that team were asked to defend a lot more than usual, only because of the circumstances. I thought most of them, did relatively okay at it.
Matthew, I've thought long and hard about Andres Pereira for this match today, because he did a good job coming in a substitute position where he probably thought he was never going to get into this match. I mean, I'd be willing to bet he never thought that he'd be playing today. And he came on, he showed fight, he showed fire, and he showed passion coming on. Tried riling up the crowd a bit, tried getting them, like I saw him pump his arms up, pump his fists, like, come on, guys, like we need your energy. And it was awesome to see that from somebody that, ultimately has kind of had a mixed bag at Manchester United. We talked about it before the match. If you can't show up for a match like this, you probably shouldn't be playing for Manchester United. And I feel like Andres did that. So for me, I'm going to give Andres a 7 out of 10. I think that he was above average. There was a couple towards the end, you could see him starting to get the ball away more and more. But it's just, he did simplify his game overall in this match, which was good to see. Towards the end, he started getting a little bit more tricky. But to start, when he first came on, he was keeping it simple, and it led to good chances that he was creating. That's just my opinion, though. So let's see what you guys give Andres Pereira today. So Anvesh said Pereira 7 for the fire and attitude he showed. George Kyle said Pereira an 8, was a beast in there, full of determination and strength, which I do think that if Ander is out for any length of time, I do think that Andres will be stepping up to play for Ander Herrera in that position. At least that's just a personal opinion. Saban said Pereira 7. Jay Hart said Pereira gets a 7. He wasn't expected to play, but passion was there. Still a question why he gets chosen ahead of Fred. Probably because number one, he's a youth product, but number two, he's also shown more than Fred to this point. That's just my guess, though. Moata said Pereira 7, right attitude and good quality. Mr. Exclusive did mention that top 4 might be gone now, which it is. We're out of it at the moment, but I think that we'll be right back in it once we play Arsenal in the league. I think that we're going to beat them, and I think we'll beat them just fine. So I'm not worried about it. I'm not Mr. Exclusive. I'm not. Let's see here. I'm not seeing any other ratings for Pereira. So, Matthew, let's go ahead and let's talk about Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba put in a good shift today, especially defensively. I mean, defensively, he was all over the pitch. And then you could just tell that he didn't have his normal attacking players around him because the balls that he was playing were balls that for, the likes of Martial and Lingard, they would have been there in those areas. But Sanchez and Lukaku they weren't. That's the truth. I mean, Pogba just was expecting people to be places and they weren't there. So what do you rate and how do you rate Paul Pogba today?
Yeah, it was kind of hard to have a good game in terms of going forward because you've got Lukaku, who, I mean, he needs no introduction, he's terrible, and an injured Rashford ahead of you. But defensively, we've criticised him a lot when it comes to defending him, rightly so, but defensively he was brilliant today. I think when it comes from a defensive point of view, he did exactly what was asked of him. Because again, given the circumstances, he has to play a bit more defensively than what he'd usually like to. But yeah, attacking-wise, obviously he couldn't do much, but I think overall, it wasn't a typical Paul Pogba game. So it's really kind of hard to rate him based on that. But rating him as part of the team, I'd give him a 7 out of 10. But a quiet 7.
So I really, once again, him and Pereira were the two I really had to think the hardest about. And for me, Pogba, because of the defensive performance he put in, it's something that recently under Ollie, we haven't expected to see Pogba really contribute much defensively. And some of the tackles that he was making and the interceptions that he was making, it really and truly helped out the team, what he was doing. So for me, I'm going to give Paul Pogba an 8 out of 10. I know that might be a little bit excessive for some, but I think because of the defensive performance, you have to give him a lot of credit, all things considering. So Pogba, 8 out of 10 for me. So let's go ahead. Let's see what you guys have to say about Paul Pogba. I think this will be one of the most interesting ratings to see. So Anvesh said Pogba 7, the leader along with Herrera. Salt said 8, crap passing. Moata said Pogba played 2 positions all game. Best performance in a United shirt for me. I mean, it's a performance Mourinho certainly would have loved, but we can guarantee that.
Would Mourinho love that? Because it was a great defensive performance, but at the same time, it was Pogba doing it.
Yep.
That would be the most mixed emotions performance.
Well, it definitely would have blown the mind off of Graham Souness. We definitely know that.
Did you see how salty it was post-game?
Oh, I can't see anything that he says here, so just I feel blessed by that.
After the stream, it's absolutely laughable.
Guys, don't listen to Graham Souness, honestly. He some of the things he comes out with, I think there's a vendetta between him against Paul Pogba. Because any time he talks about him, he always seems to have something to criticise him about. But he should obviously see in the last few games, and obviously every game under Ollie, that Pogba's probably been one of your better players, best players, I would say. Sorry, not better.
I would say, Doug, in all honesty, he not only has he been Ollie's best player, but he's also been the best player in the Premier League and possibly in the world over the time since the time Ollie took charge.
But he's a World Cup winner. He's a World Cup winner, and you can be a rubbish or shit player to be a World Cup winner.
Yeah, and a leader in that team as well. So
exactly.
I just
I actually copy what Matthew said, because defensively today he was brilliant.
And we really did need that, all things considering. So real quick, let me get into the rest of everybody's ratings. So Saban said Pogba today gets a 7. George Cost said Pogba an 8 because he had to be incredibly defensively sound, and he worked his socks off, which that is very, very true. Jay Harris said Pogba deserves an 8. He couldn't do much attacking wise since he had to focus on the defensive side. Bandy Candy said Pogba 7 for the work, mainly defensively. Anvis said Pogba 7 is well given. 8 is like a higher echelon performance when someone pops up with a goal and is defensively strong as well. Pogba was defensively good, so 7. Moana said Pogba 10. It's all just, you're all good. I can edit myself. I'm working on trying to not cuss so much personally. So this match did make me cuss quite a bit, especially at Liverpool's 12th man, Michael Oliver. So sorry, Doug. I don't mean to be salty about that, but it was a very interestingly called match. But I mean, Doug, how do you rate your other midfielder? I forget who you talked about first. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I talked about Jordan Henderson, so I'll talk about Jorginho Wijnaldum. He was pretty solid in midfield, to be honest with you. I think him and Fabinho were probably better than Henderson. There were a couple of times, Wijnaldum, sort of went past, Pereira and McTominay, pretty much. Again, tried to find players with balls. His passing was okay. It was very good in the first half. I will say that. But the second half, he kind of went a bit AWOL with some passes. But no, a very solid performance from Jorginho Wijnaldum, and I'm going to give him the same as Fabinho. I'm going to give him a 7.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, he did help out. I think that he was the one playing more defensive today. I noticed him a lot more there than I did in the attacking sense. I mean, I noticed him a couple of times in the attacking sense, but for the most part, I noticed his tracking back more. So it was a decent performance from Wijnaldum today. So Doug, we typically go to the right side. So I mean, but there was somebody missing on your right side today. I don't quite remember his name in the attacking sense. I mean, how do you rate that guy today?
It was very frustrating to watch Mohamed Salah today, because like that free kick. I think if Shaqiri was on the pitch, I think he would have more chance to score, because there's just something about Salah at the moment that he goes missing in games, and unfortunately he had his usual missing game against United. Still hasn't scored against United, so that might be a stat that we might actually never see happen, and never scoring against United. I hope not. But no, he tried. He just didn't get involved much. Did not get involved. Kind of summed it up when he got substituted, because Luke Shaw. I think Manchester United actually defended very, very well against them. I think there were a couple of times, when obviously he got past Luke Shaw a few times, and then obviously there was Lindelof and Smalling to sweep up. But yeah, very frustrating performance from Mohamed Salah, and because of that, it has to be a standard 5 for me.
In all honesty, I mean, I think about it this way. If that was Anthony Martial that put in that performance, I would probably be looking at it and trying to be a little bit more positive about it as well. So, I mean, a 5 seems okay. I mean, he was running a lot. I mean, he did make some good runs, but other than that, I mean, he really didn't do anything. He really was pocketed by Luke Shaw. And when Luke Shaw wasn't able to fully pocket him, Lindelof was there to just pick up the pieces. So it was a great job from our defense overall today to really stop him.
And that's 2 games in a row now that Mohamed Salah has been pocketed by 2 left backs. Ashley Young last season, and now Luke Shaw.
Yep.
So they obviously did the job on them.
Yeah. Oh, they put a great performance in today. So Matthew, let's go ahead and go to our right side, who realistically was Romelu Lukaku. How do you rate Romelu Lukaku today?
I don't quite think it was an absolute shit show like we've seen from him recently, because he put in a few good crosses. Chris Smalling should have scored one of them, but I'm sick of ranting about that. A few okay passes and stuff. Defensively, I thought he did quite okay, but off for just next to nothing from a striker's point of view. His first touch, as per usual, was shocking. So I'd probably say anywhere between a 5 and a 6. I think one of those 2 ratings. I'd probably say 5 because of little involvement going forward. To be fair, he put in a nice pass to Jesse Lingard that Alisson made a good save from.
Yep.
But really, apart from that final third, his final ball just was kind of lacking at times. And I don't think I saw him have a single shot as well.
No, definitely did not have a shot. Like he thought about taking a shot when he picked up that ball outside of the box from Pogba. But he did wind up passing that off, which that led to that Lingard chance. And like I said, I mean, if he puts just a little bit less power on that pass, I think Lingard 100% rounds Alisson. That's without question for me.
Actually, the more I think about it, more I think he was an absolute donkey today. So I'd even be tempted to give him a 4 out of 10, because there was just little individual moments where you think, right, just control it, get past your player or past it, and he'd fail to control the ball back because his first touch is just so awful. And that did hinder us quite a few times, so 4 out of 10 maybe.
So I'm giving him a 5 today. I'm going to be a little bit more generous to him, and here's the reason why. You look at the performance he put in, yes, attacking-wise, like he didn't really offer much. He put in a couple of decent crosses. He put in one really good ball to Jesse Lingard. And then defensively, I mean, he helped out on Andy Robertson. He did. Realistically, that right there equaled, Andy Robertson not being able to do much really helped out the team. So I think Lukaku getting a 5 is appropriate, especially considering the fact that I have been very, 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 very harsh on him for quite a long time. So, it's probably my best rating I've given him in quite a long time, now that I'm really thinking about it. So, I'm actually going to be interested to see some of the ratings that you guys give. And right off the bat, I got one that was pretty funny. But so Saban said Lukaku 5. Anvesh said Lukaku 13. Pizzas he ate today. Probably. J Hart said not as bad as a last game, but still gets a 4 for me. I just don't see the effort from him, which that is 100% true. I did not see the effort from him in the match today. I just didn't. And it's a match where he needed to turn up. And once again, like I said, he just didn't turn up like we needed him to in a game that we were missing Jesse Lingard and Anthony Martial. So, let's see here. If so, Moana said if Salah gets a 5, Lukaku gets an 8. I get where you're coming from, Mo, but like I said, other than a few good crosses, like he really didn't, and a little bit of help defensively, he really didn't do much. And his first touch literally led to a couple of different attacks for Liverpool. So kind of crap. Let's see here. So Vandy Candy said Lukaku 5. He did what he was capable of. We should stop expecting more. That's a fair point, Vandy. That is a very fair point. So Anvesh said on a serious note, he said Lukaku 5. Yeah, put in decent crosses and is the world's strongest man. Oh wait, that's Mark Henry. Another good one there. So Moana did say still better than Salah, which is true. He was better than Salah today, but overall, I would have rated Salah probably a 4. Really getting into it, like evaluating the performance. So I think that he was only a little bit better than Salah, but not by much. Matthew, let's go ahead. Let's move on to our left-hand side, which once again was realistically Marcus Rashford. And I felt bad for the kid because you could tell that he was out there playing as hard as he could, despite the fact that he was really, really hurting. How do you rate Marcus Rashford today?
He deserves a 10 out of 10 for staying on the pitch so long. Or the whole game, really, for playing through injury. I don't think you can really judge him too harshly. And by the way, N'Golo Kante's just missed an absolute sitter in that Chelsea game.
Oof.
Hazard just went on a mad run, squared into Kante, and he skied it from about 10 yards out. But anyways, back to Rashford. I don't think it's really that. What am I trying to say? You can't really judge him too much based on the circumstances. Like, he was injured, he obviously couldn't have been taken off, or what he could have been taken off, but United would have been down to 10 men. So I'd probably just give him a default 6. Like, good in terms of the effort that he put in, but obviously there wasn't much happening.
So, Matthew, I'm going to give a bit of a surprise rating here. I'm going to give Marcus Rashford, and he's not man of the match, but I'm giving him a 10 out of 10, and here's the reason why. He stayed on the pitch and still was better than Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez, despite the fact that he was half of the player he normally is.
Yeah, that's true.
That's real talk.
Of, like, effort and staying on the pitch for so long, like, considering the fact he was injured, like, give the boy a medal.
Yeah.
Like, for that reason alone, he did absolutely amazing. But yeah, in sort of like the grand scheme of things, obviously he couldn't do too much. But yeah, a 10 is fair enough.
Like I said, it's not that he's the man of the match by any means, but the fact that he just had the heart to stay out there on the pitch and know that, like, his team needed him and still was able to make some runs. That's the thing. He basically put his body, like, essentially put it this way, put his body on the line to still be able to make good runs and hopefully score. And he almost did a couple of times.
And then you've got Lukaku, who needs a life support machine every time he comes on.
Yeah.
Like, he just set the circle and looked like he's going to pass out.
Yeah. Like, it's just sad. It really is just sad. And, like, that's why I give Rashford a 10 out of 10, just for the simple fact of the amount of effort he put in. If we were talking, like, if it wasn't for him being hurt, I probably would have given him a 6 out of 10 today. But knowing that he was hurt, you got to give the boy everything. Give him everything. And hopefully this rumor of him signing a new 5-year contract is true, because I would absolutely love that. So let's go ahead. Let's get to your guys' ratings. Salt said Rashford was brilliant for being injured. Saban said Rashford 8, played 90 minutes with an injury. Anvish said Rashford 10, limping but still carried on as other subs were more important to be done, as Lingard apparently might have torn a hamstring. And I hope that's not the case, guys, because, that would be a huge blow to Manchester United. And it would basically mean that we'd be needing to play youth from this point on, because I do think that Juan Mata will probably be out for a few weeks as well. So that we might see the likes of Angel Gomez and Tahith Chong going forward. It will be very interesting to see how we're going to handle this injury crisis. So Jay Hart said, I give Rashford a deserved 10 out of 10. The lad is United through and through. He fought for the badge with all of his heart, which is 100% true, Jay Hart. Moana said Rashford 8, missed a good chance and miscontrolled another when through on goal, but worked hard and played through injury. Yeah, exactly. And Salt, like you said, Rashford was realistically injured for 75 minutes. So that says a lot about the man. So I really cannot tell you the amount of appreciation I have for Marcus Rashford. Like, just thank you, Marcus, for sticking it out and doing everything you could for the team, despite the fact that you were hurt. So Doug, let's go ahead. Let's get to your last 2 ratings realistically. You've still got the left wing, and then your striker spot, which will kind of be a mixed bag considering the fact Fabinho didn't come off till about 40 minutes. So rate whoever you want to first, because you're going to get back-to-back anyways.
I will start with the laziest person I've seen ever, Daniel Sturridge. What did he do? What did he do? Nothing. I think there was one moment where I think he was really like bullied off the ball, I think, by Lindelof. And apart from that, I can't really remember him doing anything. And actually, I think it was the worst. I think that was the wrong sub at that time, because if you think about it, you've got Naby Keita, you've got Xherdan Shaqiri, you've got Divock Origi, like ahead. Like I think one of those three should have came on, because Sturridge was completely non-existent. He was very lazy, and actually, I don't think he suits the system. And I think we could see him on his way out, because he has been a very good striker. I'll don't give that a minute, but injuries have really cost his career. It's been a very stop-start career for Daniel Sturridge. But I'm going to be very harsh on this one, and because I just think he was very lazy. I just didn't think he did anything. I originally had 4, but I'm actually going to give him a 3.
I mean, that would make him the worst player on the pitch all day today. And I wouldn't necessarily disagree either. So I mean, you don't have to give Fabinho a rating if you don't want to, because he really didn't have an effect on the match either. Just being real about it.
Yeah. I think up until obviously the injury that he got, which actually looks a really serious injury. Like, I'm fearing the worst for that, because I don't know if anyone has seen it, but basically when he is going for like a ball, when he's like running, he actually buckles his right foot into the ground. Now that could be a foot injury. It could even be an ankle injury. It looks really painful. And you know, Firmino. Okay, actually, the back pass from Ashley Young, where Manny gets in ahead of De Gea. Firmino should gamble. He should gamble to like try and, you know, take the ball around De Gea and obviously, you know, score. But yeah, apart from that, I think it'd be very harsh to give Firmino a rating. To be honest with you, I think it'd be very, very harsh for me to give Firmino a rating. So yeah, I can't give Firmino a rating. So yeah.
So Sadio Mane, last guy.
It was a typical Sadio Mane performance. Tries and tries and tries, but end product is just not there. And against Bayern Munich, he could not finish for toffee. So I think standard 5 again, because he did try his best, but ultimately, I think Ashley Young pocketed him very well. I think Smalling did very well against him as well. And at times, you know, Lindelof did well with him as well. So, yeah, standard 5 for Sadio Mane.
And that's fair. I mean, he really didn't have a true effect on the game. So I get where you're coming from with that, at the very least. So 5 for Mane. Got it. Let's move on to our last position, which is kind of shared between, you know, 3 people, which is unfortunate because it went from Mata to Lingard to Sanchez. Sanchez having the most amount of time, obviously. So, I mean, I'd say let's just rate Sanchez, all things considering. I mean, we could give Lingard, you know, once again, I give Lingard a 10 out of 10 for going out there and doing everything he could, but ultimately re-injuring himself, which that is the most unfortunate part. And hopefully it's not something to the point where he's going to be out long-term, because we need Jesse Lingard in this team. We really do. So, I mean, how do you rate Sanchez?
I'll be honest, right? See, until you mentioned Sanchez there, I forgot he played. The boy just did absolutely nothing today. Like, the only things that I saw him do were there was one part where he was on the left wing and someone played a long ball to him. His touch was absolutely atrocious and it went out for a throw-in.
Mm.
And I think that's the only really thing I remember from it. It was just another very wasteful performance, and the fact that he's picking up 400 grand tomorrow is pretty sickening. So yeah, he just didn't do anything. He didn't do anything, and you've seen it so many times when he's playing on the left wing. He just doesn't put in any sort of level of performance. What they have, never mind a Man United number 7 shirt, but just a Man United shirt in general. So I mean, I'd probably give him a 4.
That's the hard part, Matthew, because Sanchez, you can see he's at least trying. With Lukaku, you can't even see him trying, but with Sanchez, you at least see him trying. It's just not working for him.
Yep.
So
yeah, just nothing worked for him whatsoever. And to be fair, some of that was due to him just being terrible, but some of that was due to the fact that we did have to be more defensive. But yeah, I'm sick of seeing him. But every time I see him come on the pitch, I just think, why are you even still playing?
Mm.
Although to be fair, we had a lot of injuries, and obviously that kind of needs to come on. But yeah, I'm just sick of seeing him now.
Mm. I'm going to give Sanchez a 5 today. I'm going to give him a 5 because I at least saw him trying. It wound up just not working for him. And listen, I do think that it's unfortunate, but I think that it is time to say that Sanchez just should not be coming on the pitch anymore. That means that we, even with the injury crisis, we cannot reward performances like that and allow him to continue to come on and play. It would be irresponsible of Manchester United to do that. So I'm sorry, Alexis Sanchez, it's not going to work out. And like a lot of people in the chat are saying, bring in Jadon Sancho, please. Listen, I think I would take Jadon Sancho. I would take almost anybody really to take over that spot, because we just need anybody to play that can play on the right wing or left wing or just graft with the team. Just graft with the team. Just give us anybody that can do something, because Sanchez offers us nothing anymore. And it's sad. It is really sad to see a player of his quality and caliber just drop off the face of the earth like he has. So, Anvesh, I think you gave me my first rating. You gave Sanchez a 6 for the energy he showed. Mwada, all their forwards were pocketed. That is very true for Liverpool. Let's see here. So, so he said Sanchez 6 for the energy he showed. Mata 5. Sad he got injured. Lingard 9, and then Anvesh said Jadon Sancho, give him a 10. We'll give Jadon Sancho a 10. He's not even with Manchester United yet. We'll give him a 10. Okay, cool. So Moata said Alexis 5.
Sancho did score about 5 minutes ago.
Oh, well, there you go.
Just a wee point on Sanchez. That he's got 1 goal and 14 appearances now for Manchester United this season. It's not great, is it?
I'm not going to lie.
I didn't even remember he had a goal.
Yeah,
Redmond?
You don't remember?
No.
Newcastle in the last minute.
Oh yeah.
Game.
Oh yeah. I forgot that was him, Matthew. I really did.
Smallest guy on the pitch winning the header in the last minute.
I forgot that he scored. I really did. But once again, that just goes to show how poor he's been. That in the match that I went to, I can't even remember him being on the pitch. It says everything. It really does. So Moana said Alexis 5, done at the top level. JR said Lingard deserves a rating for the effort up front, but Sanchez gets a 4 like Lukaku. He didn't give anything to the team. Let's see. Here's anybody else. So it's also yesterday I saw a guy in this year's home kit for with Sanchez on it, and I told him he's a wee fanny who doesn't watch the games. It's a little harsh, Salt. But I mean, I guess I get it. I mean, Sanchez has been that bad, but I'm surprised you could even see him in that jersey because I mean, essentially, Alexis Sanchez is John Cena. You just can't see him. So yeah, but.
And actually, Sanchez on 400k is absolutely revolting.
Yep. We have to bring in somebody in the summer, and we have to get rid of him. We just do. It cannot continue to happen. We have to get rid of him, and just like we have to get rid of Lukaku, because they just do not suit the team anymore. And it's especially if Ollie is the manager. We just got to do it. And my hope is that. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate that. But lastly, but not leastly, let's go to our managers. And so, Doug, I'll go to you first to give Klopp a rating. Who he just cannot seem to beat Manchester United at home. What do you give Klopp today? You know, considering the fact that we used all of our subs in the first 40 minutes of the match.
You mean Old Trafford, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, did I say? What did I say?
You said Klopp has a habit of not beating Manchester United at Anfield.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant at our home. That's where as I said, they just can't beat Manchester United at home, and I was thinking at Old Trafford. So I apologize for that.
No. That's my fault. I think it was the wrong decision from Klopp to bring on Sturridge. I'm not going to lie. I think, like I said, for Sturridge's reign, I think that there were better players to come on. I think if he had gone to a 4-4-2 with obviously Mane and Salah, then I think like I think we were missing Keita today. Because his energy in midfield would have been a lot more better than Sturridge. Actually, to be fair, Rashford, considering that he was running on one leg, was probably better than Daniel Sturridge. Actually, probably Daniel Sturridge is probably the worst player on the pitch today. I'm not going to lie. He was awful. So I think that was the wrong decision to do that. He brought in Shaqiri far too late. I mean, 75 minutes, you bring on Shaqiri and, it was just wrong. And then he brings on Origi for Salah. And to be honest with you, I think at that point, he was thinking, okay, we maybe settle for a draw. Because I think bringing Origi on in the 84th minute, I mean, okay, I know he got the late winner against Everton, but he doesn't even get going when he does come on. So yeah, for wrong subs, standard 5 for me, to be honest with you.
Okay. I mean, I get it. But because of the way that things wound up, I mean, I get giving him I personally probably would have given him a 4 because you guys should have won that match, considering the fact that we didn't have 2 of our top players and we also had to sub everybody after 40 minutes. I mean, that's crazy. That's at least what I would have done with Mourinho. With Ollie, I probably would have been a lot nicer. But then again, you never know. But so Matthew. I saw your phone is dying, so let's get you. What do you rate, and how do you rate Ollie today?
I think it's quite a difficult one, really, for Ollie, because obviously we didn't win, but at the same time, I think I'm trying to explain this. Like, it was the best performance that we could have put in without getting a win. Like, defensively, we were brilliant. We completely shut down Liverpool. Given the fact that we got loads of injuries, we had to change up our style, and we did that pretty well. The only criticism that I have of Ole is the fact that he brought on Lingard when he obviously wasn't fit to start. I thought that it might have been a little bit of a naive move. But even then, like when Lingard came on for Mata, I thought, okay, could do something here. But at the same time, like you don't bring on someone who is not match fit like 20 minutes into a game. Because that's just going to completely risk him again for getting another injury, and that happens. But I think apart from that, I thought he set up the team, really well in terms of what we could do. And tactically, we managed to keep out Liverpool. So I don't know if an 8 out of 10 is too generous or not.
No,
because again, didn't win the game. I'd say 7.5 out of 10.
I mean, Matthew, I was going to give him an 8 because, like you mentioned, I mean, you consider the fact that we had to use up all of our substitutions very, very early. We had to we had to overcome so much in this match, and like you mentioned, the only we didn't win, and then the naivety of putting in Lingard is probably the only two things you could criticize in this match. Because I mean, I had a similar situation. So I told you guys yesterday I coach a 5th and 6th grade basketball team here in Arizona. And so we actually wound up losing the game yesterday, and it was my fault because we had 2 players that they were sick in the midweek at practice, but they're also 2 of my better players. And selfishly, I left them out there for 2 straight quarters, despite the fact that they got back on the bench and they were wheezing and coughing and could barely breathe. And I realized in that moment that they came and told me they were good, and they weren't. And I'm sure it was probably the same thing with Lingard. Is Lingard probably was like, listen, I'm good to go. Put me out there. I'll do whatever I can to help the team. And, as a coach, you have to know better. You have to know when your player, probably should be given a rest. And I think ultimately this should have been a match where Lingard probably should have been not played. We probably should have played Sanchez instead and brought him on because he wound up coming on ultimately anyways. So for me, that's the only mistake Ollie made, is making the decision to bring in Lingard, who realistically should not have been brought on. But other than that, I mean, I give him an 8. I love what Ollie's doing with the team, and I'm super happy with what he's being able to do for us. So Jay Hart said, I give Ollie a 9 for the tactical performance after having to make so many changes, and a 5 for Klopp for not being able to take advantage of that. Saban said Ollie 9 for that tactical performance. Let's see anybody else. I don't see anybody else giving Ollie a rating, but that's okay. But let's go ahead. Let's wrap it up, guys. I mean, Matthew, just because I don't want to risk your phone battery dying, let's go to you first. Final thoughts on the match?
Like I said, it was a bit of a weird game. A very, very weird one. I don't think anyone expected it to go anything like that.
No.
A draw probably benefits Man United a little bit more, but at the same time, I'm kind of annoyed that we didn't get a win. But then again, getting a draw means that Ole has now broken a record for the most amount of points from a Premier League manager in history in the first 10 games. He's got 26 points from 10 games, which is just absolutely mental.
Yeah.
So big ups to him for doing that. But yeah, a little bit frustrating. And not really because of Bole, but rather because of a certain Chris Smalling, who I think should be taken out of the team for the next game, just as punishment for missing those 2 chances, or for making an absolute hash out of it. But yeah, it was just such a strange game.
It was.
You're going for hours talking about the game, but yeah, it was an odd one. But no, cheers for having me on again.
Dude, we'll have you on anytime, Matthew. I was trying to get Craig on, but Craig doesn't have Skype, so that's all good. So, I mean, Doug, final thoughts on the match?
A very frustrating game, probably not helped by the injuries. I like how Matthew is actually saying that Chris Smalling should be brought out of the game, brought out of the next game for missing those 2 chances. I was just thinking of when Matthew said punish him. I was thinking crucify him.
Tell you what, if I had my way, Doug.
So I was thinking that was maybe a wee bit too harsh, but yeah, it was. I don't know about you, Andrew, and I don't know about you, Matthew, but I'm feeling really deflated still from it because there was a lot of hype up about this game, considering the rivalry between the 2 sides. It just, I think injuries really, really hampered both sides today. And I thought Manchester United were brilliant defensively today. They shut out Liverpool, and to only have one shot on target is kind of testimony to how well Manchester United defended today. So if you asked me if I wanted to draw before the start of the match, I would have bit your hand off because, like I said, I've had butterflies in my stomach since I woke up this morning because I wasn't sure what to expect today. Obviously, the draw puts us on top. So that's probably the only positive to come out of that. But a missed opportunity. But having said that, I don't think top four is over for you guys. If I'm being honest with you, I know Mr. I know Mr. Exclusive said that he felt that top four was over, but no, definitely not, because you cannot say that Arsenal are going to go on a massive run again, because I think you guys have got them soon as well. So I can see if Lingard is obviously fit, then I can obviously see Jesse dancing to the Emirates again. And I can actually see he's beating Chelsea at Old Trafford as well. But to be fair, there are still going to be loads of twists and turns throughout this Premiership season. But all I can say is I'm glad we didn't get beat, and good luck to you guys for the rest of the season. And please beat Manchester City at the end of April. I'll be so delighted if you do beat Manchester City.
I think we might kind of rest some people for that game, Doug. We got bigger fish to fry. But real talk though. It was a very frustrating match overall, because I put a tweet out jokingly, but you're being real about it. I wish injuries could be turned off for a game like this. I know that's very much so a FIFA thing to say, but I wish that there was a way to not have to deal with injuries in a game like this, because it ultimately hurt both teams to not have full strength squads, and it led to a little bit of a different game, something we all didn't expect to see, which was a 0-0 draw. So for me, end of the day, we dealt with injuries pretty well. I think pulling out the 0-0 draw at the end of the day is exactly what we needed to do. We needed to pull out something out of this match. We could not leave with losing all 3 points. So that's just it was a fantastic performance, all things considering. So Manchester United put in a shift. We did everything we could defensively to stop Liverpool, who are one of the best attacking sides in all of Europe. And we did stop them. We did. So, great match. Matthew, once again, I'm going to go to you first, just in case your phone dies. You obviously, you could shout out anything, but I think I know what you're going to shout out here.
Do you? Do you really?
I do.
Right. Subscribe to PewDiePie.
Yes.
Yep. Subscribe to him. He lost the race for 3 seconds and got a massive sub gap. I'm proud of him. But yeah, check out offsidegraphics.com. We're still doing the offer on the Man United and Liverpool posters, I think, for the next 2 days. So if you want to grab yourself a Man United print, like the one that was featured on that Sky Sports programme, which is still mental to think about, then head on down there. And yeah, I've got nothing else really to say. Just a bit, like you said, deflated after that game.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually feel physically tired because of the game. It was one of those that it took everything out of me. The anxiety of the match, it was crazy. But Doug, same to you. Anything you want to shout out?
Thank you very much for having me on the show again. And yes, obviously I posted a photo last night. If people would retweet that, and obviously try and get me some sponsors for the 10-hour radio show, that'd be fantastic. But obviously keep retweeting and liking it. Obviously this is for Autism Awareness Week, and really excited, really looking forward to it. But no, just thank you for having me on again, and keep subscribing to this amazing guy who always does fantastic streams. And I'm sure we will do a Premier League preview at some point in the next wee while. Just obviously let me know, and yeah, I'll probably be in touch with you over the next wee while. Obviously, with like football happening. Obviously, we've got a big midweek card as well. So obviously, you guys got Palace. We've got Watford. So yeah, two big games. But no, thank you for having me on again, Andrew. And I wish you guys well for the rest of the season.
I really appreciate that, Doug. And let's hope that we can just. I really do hope Manchester United can pull out top 4 still. I mean, I don't see it being a problem, but with all the injuries, I mean, you just never know what's going to happen. Let's hope that everybody can come back healthy, hope that everybody can just, manage to regain their fitness. We need that back. We need to have our full strength squad because we are going to struggle here very soon if we do not get everybody back and healthy. So my prayers to everybody with Manchester United that is going through, the injuries right now that they are, because we need you guys and we need you bad. So guys, again, thank you for joining me. And I really do hope that you all have a great night, a great day, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. Keep doing you guys, because I love you and you guys are awesome. We'll catch you later.